Now this piece here and this large piece here very clearly has paint on it that should be removed. But these pieces number 55 and 56, I'm not seeing anything on there. Now there's undoubtedly overspray that I'm not seeing, but I don't think I'm going to bother trying to clean them off because they're kind of going to be kind of hard later to determine which one is 55 and which is 56, although actually I can actually see the difference right now. But I think probably some of these other pieces that are going to be so obvious, we will try and get the paint off and get them down to the bare metal. Now I have to be very careful how I pick some of these up. Is there any more? Nope, there's just 55s and 56s left. Okay. Now we'll just soak them in Windex here for a few minutes. I'll periodically agitate them. And you can see the paint coming off already here. That Windex works really well on the Tamiya XF paints. Now I do want to be careful not to bend these little arms. Okay. Now, while we're doing this, I want to talk about an email that I got. Now, what was it, about 2 weeks ago now that we got this glue from Sunward Hobbies? Well, yesterday I got an email from them, and they wanted to know what my opinion is of this particular one right here. Now, I realize it's a marketing ploy. It's an automated email. They could care less what Ron Calverley thinks about this glue. Well, kind of. It's just sort of to let them know, hey, we're still here if you need more stuff. I know. When you get to be 74 years old and have been led down the garden path by salesmen as much as I have, yeah, you know the old saying, once bit, twice shy? Well, I've probably been bit a whole bunch of times. Anyway, I got to thinking, I haven't even tried this out yet. Let's take some scraps here and just see how it reacts. Now, isn't that embarrassing? They were talking about this one here, not this one. Yeah, apparently when you're 74, you can't remember what the email says either. Anyway, I was just noticing I've got this little boat here with the scraps. I was thinking maybe I should hang on to that, and if you remember, we had an extra one of these when we were doing the Bismarck, but my grandson might like it. Now I was just realizing here that I was saying that maybe my grandson would like to have this, and he probably would, except he's going to want to play with it in the bathtub, and I can imagine that this Tamiya flat paint that we used is going to dissolve. Not as fast as the Windex, but water will dissolve this. What would you recommend that I coat this with so that the paint is waterproof and it's going to stay on at least for a little while? Now, I realize he's going to break the rudder off and stuff like that. He's just a little kid. Remember when you were a little kid? I remember when I was. Something like this little rudder wouldn't stand up very long. You just don't have any clue when it comes to, handling really delicate stuff. Anyway, now, also when we were doing the Bismarck, we had an extra one of these turrets here. I think this is a turret from the 6-inch gun, if I'm not mistaken, and there was enough left over for 2 more. Now, one of the things that I really like about the extra thin is that in a seam like this, it will wick its way along really, really quickly and then meld. Well, you know what I'm talking about. So let's do this in a bit of a controlled way here, at least. Maybe I'll grab onto this thing with the helping hand so that it doesn't move around on me. And I'll put the macro lens on so that we can actually see what this is, how this wicks its way along. I would imagine that this is going to be the same as the other extra thin, the regular extra thin. The idea is it's just supposed to set quicker. Now, I don't know how we're going to be able to do that and do a proper test unless we were to do 2 at exactly the same time with the 2 different glues. But, we'll just do the best we can here. Okay, let's just do a bit of a dry run here. Yeah, I think that's going to work. All right. No, the macro lens. Now, you can see here where the the brackets were supposed to go in that held the barrels and so on, but the barrels, I believe, were on an entirely different sprue to what the turret was. So there was extra turrets, but there was no extra barrels or anything. I got curious, and I'm wrong again. They were all on the Q sprue. Well, I do not know where the barrels went. I just don't have them now, as far as I know anyway. Maybe I'm wrong again. Bumping that out of the field of view there, I gotta be careful not to do that. Okay, so the idea is we're gonna put this in here, and we're gonna poke it down, and we're gonna take our, can't get the bottle open. Okay, our fast drying extra thin. You know what, I gotta put my other glasses on, sorry. Just a point of interest here. When people in Canada say sorry, it doesn't mean they're acknowledging a mistake. In fact, Canada has what's known as the Apology Act, where you can, just because you apologize, doesn't necessarily mean that it's not an admission of guilt. Okay, let's see what happens here now. Now I'm putting it on extra heavy. I just want to kind of watching to see how it wicks its way in. I'm hoping you can see it too. Maybe I'm putting it on a little bit too heavy here. Oops. Okay, let's go right in the corner and see how it wicks away from the corner. Yeah, I'm looking straight down on it, and I can sort of see that it is. No, that obviously I pulled it on there. Now this should evaporate. In fact, I can almost see it evaporating. I'll let the camera run for a bit. We'll do a time lapse. Oh my! I looked in the monitor just now and I realized I didn't have that adjusted very good for a time lapse. I'm going to just readjust better down to this corner. Okay, I'm going to have to resaturate. That's pretty well dry right now. So here we go, and then I'll start the time lapse. Get lots on there. Okay, we'll start the time lapse now. Okay, about 5 minutes has passed here now. Let's just take Mr. T's poking device and see what's going to happen here. Okay, right in there it was probably about its thickest. It's probably pretty soft right there. You can see that it is scratching on the plastic. Now what if we wanted to glue something like this onto here? What is the melding properties, if you know what I mean? This is just a piece of scrap sprue, as you can see. I'll just set it on here. Whoops. Oh sure, make a fool of me. Alright, here we're going to try this again. Let's set it on here. Well, it's set there before. Why won't it do it again? Maybe I should take and sand that just a little bit flatter. What do you think? Okay, let's try it again. Some better. Guess I didn't sand it as flat as I should have, but anyway. Oh, that's the wrong one. I'm batting 1,000 today, aren't I? Okay, here we go. Okay, once again, time lapse starts now. Well, I don't know how much time has passed here. Just move this up a little bit. I can bend it. I could probably very easily bend it off. I would say that its melding properties are probably about as a little bit soft there still. Is it any quicker than the extra thin? I don't know. I'm not noticing any difference. Those of you who have used this, have you noticed any difference between this stuff and the ordinary extra thin? Before I give it a star rating, I think I'll just wait and see what kind of comments I'm going to get tonight on this. Now, I realize that, my opinion should not depend on what other people think, but our opinions are formed by what other people think. Get a whole bunch of modelers that all think that it's, one way or the other. Well, it's going to make your opinion change a little bit. Now, maybe I'm sort of looking at this backwards here. Right now, I don't know if I'm noticing any difference between the regular and the and this one, but that's I just want to see what other people are going to think about it. No, the idea here was just to try and get as much of the excess Windex off as I can, within reason, that is, and before I put it in my, I think that's Iwata airbrush cleaner fluid. So, okay, we'll drop it in here. Now you notice these larger pieces, I bent them at a bit of an angle. I thought the ultrasonic might work better if they were sort of laying down. Now, of course, there, like that. Now, that's just my opinion. I'm not 100% sure how this ultrasonic works. I kind of know. Okay, let's see if I can turn it on here now without it splashing up on the lens. It does sometimes have a tendency to spit. Where's the cover for this thing now? Okay, we'll give it a try here. It's definitely going to throw the sound recording system for a loop in my camera. Now, I realize that I probably don't have to do this, but I'm going to rinse those little pieces off in isopropyl here, and then dry them. I won't show it being done because wasted enough time here, and it's later already than I thought it was, so we got to kind of try and wind this up. Anyway, we'll get them in here. Now, once again, I want to be careful how I grab these because I don't want to bend the little grill work that is so delicately etched into these things. But I'm pretty sure we got probably 99% of the Iwata airbrush cleaner off of here. Now I know there is going to be residue of isopropyl, but I mean, there's no end to this, right? And besides, I'm going to be touching this with my fingers. Now, I was noticing Steve from the model shed, he was soldering his photo etch parts together. I don't think I can do that. I do have a soldering gun, but I don't have a delicate one. I've got a heavy duty one. I don't know if I want to give it a try or not. Anyway, that'll be tomorrow. Thanks for watching, everybody. And all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.